Okay, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the opening seminar of CitizenHack 2022. I'm Katarina from Ultrahack, and today we have also from Ultrahack Ella Ronkainen and Juhani Kivikangas joining us today, in addition to our partners and great speakers. I'm so excited to see so many of you joining us today and all around Europe, and I'm sure that we will have a very interesting 1.5 hour seminar today. So today we are going through the story behind the CitizenHack and what's great about this initiative, both from Ultrahack side and also from the European Commission side. After that, we have both citizens and researchers' perspective, sharing their experiences, why it's great to join this kind of very unique co-creation hackathon. In the end, we will go through the practicalities, how to join and register for the hackathon. And if you have any questions during this opening seminar, you can write them to the chat, and we will then go them through in the Q&A section in the end. But let's start. Please, Juhani Kivikangas, our chairman of board in Ultrahack, the virtual stage is yours.
Yes, thank you, Katarina. So I want to wish you all welcome also on my behalf. Last 2 years have brought people closer together and also made the world a smaller place. So it's no longer unusual that teams consisting of people from different countries jointly work together to solve the challenges for the third country. We are here in an opening seminar where the European Commission launches the CitizenHack 2022. CitizenHack 2022 is a new kind of hackathon where challenges are not given from top down to be solved, but instead citizens all over Europe are invited to encouraged to bring their own challenges to be solved together in teams where researchers are supporting citizens with their academic knowledge and resources and background. Our partners in a hackathon include User-Cities, OINet, and Aalto Startup Center. They're also supporting and organizing a hackathon and helping best ideas and concepts to get support and visibility also after the hackathon. I will also tell something more about this collaboration after keynote presentation, and our keynote presentation will be provided by Director General of Research and Innovation, European Commission, Jean-Éric Paquet. Jean-Éric puts co-creation and systemic change at the heart of the decision-making process, and strongly believes that the citizens should be involved in shaping a public policy agenda. So this is a great place also then for CitizenHack 2022. We will after that hear views from both citizens and researchers, and finally Katarina will talk us through the next steps about CitizenHack 2022, and that there is followed Q&A. Without further longer speech, I will now warmly welcome and invite Director General of Research and Innovation, European Commission, Jean-Éric Paquet, to give his keynote speech. Floor is yours.
Yanni, thank you very much. Katarina, also thanks for setting up this meeting today, laying the ground for the hackathon in February. This is for the Commission a large-scale experiment. We're quite excited about it, to devise methods, platforms, gain knowledge on how hackathons bringing together citizens, innovators, scientists can indeed produce solutions, and solutions which are not just robust solutions for our digital transformation, for climate change, biodiversity loss, leading to better cities, helping regions to become more climate resilient, rolling out nature-based solutions. I think the sky is the limit really in terms of areas and solutions which we hope to see explored in such a way over time. But what we need is indeed to see how that formula, which is so productive, has been used by many in Europe and in the world over the last 2 years, where indeed the pandemic has focused minds very much on the need to work across boundaries and bring together ideas and actors geographically, but also across sectors to find solutions for the pandemic. I mean, that approach, that hackathon approach, is one which we really feel has a lot of potential. And that is what we want to explore in this experiment. Research and innovation is very much driven today by indeed the quest for practical solutions to help the world, and in our case, to help Europe and Europeans transform. That transformation, I think, is needed. It's really urgent. I think the COP26 in Glasgow, which has produced outcomes, also has illustrated amply with civil society engaging and putting welcome pressure on delegates that the matter of climate change is indeed urgent, and that we need really outcomes, not just at the 2050 horizon, which is often the policy horizons for many players, but we need genuine reductions in CO2 emissions now if we want to maintain global warming within the Paris Agreement 1.5 degree framework. This is going to be particularly challenging, not, I would say, yet impossible. And there is no doubt for the Commission that research-based innovative solutions will play quite a part in helping Europe and hopefully also many others across the globe to deploy solutions already now with a view to reducing emissions. Science and research and innovation are, of course, key, but what I think is as important to this technological-based transformation is that societies, and therefore ourselves, we are part of the process from at least 2 points of view. I mean, firstly, there is an obvious need that these technologies are understood, accepted, seen as legitimate, and then fully used so that they can indeed have the intended impact. And in addition to that, our scientific analysis, and I think it's now also common sense knowledge across Europe, is that the transformations we are looking at are not just about putting new technologies on top of the way we live as societies. We will also need to look at how our societies operate and achieve changes in lifestyles, for example, at individual and societal level. So for both reasons, therefore, devising solutions and more than devising solutions, also discussing their rollout across society is absolutely essential. And that cannot be done by policymakers, scientists, innovators, entrepreneurs only. That needs to be devised from the outset with society and with citizens. And this is really what this hackathon is all about. I mean, I'm illustrating it with our most urgent and important transformation, which is on climate change, and to which, of course, I add environmental degradation and biodiversity loss. It's connected and intertwined with occasional trade-offs as well, but also with many solutions which can be deployed to deal with the challenges at the same time. And here again, citizens will be key. In the European framework, this also connects to the European missions, which were kicked off last year, and we are now in the process of really getting them out into Europe, missions on adapting to climate change, so making our regions more resilient to climate change induced events. Also investing in notably nature-based solutions to help us deal with floods, better manage our forests, make our cities more livable. We have a mission on soils where we hope to indeed also look at the climate change dimension, but also hope to restore the quality and health of our soils, with of course an important impact on the quality of food across Europe. We have a mission on oceans and waters more generally, where we hope to see across regions in Europe a real effort, which is again to be delivered by industry, by technologies, but by all of us on cleaning up our waters. Plastic pollution is, of course, a key dimension. Pollution linked to industries or agriculture is another dimension of it. So here again, many technology-backed visions exist, but they also need to be carried by us as a society. We then have one key mission on cities, which is maybe the one where working with citizens is going to be the most straightforward to at least imagine today, where the mission is about finding 100 cities in Europe, and work is right now ongoing, which will declare their ambition to be climate neutral by 2030. So an extraordinarily ambitious timeline, very much needed one, as I said a moment ago. And for these cities to achieve that objective, they will, of course, need to look at their energy systems, need to invest in the mobility patterns, need to look at the way waste is managed, and industry and services are carried out in the city. But this will obviously deeply affect the way cities are organized and the way we live in these cities. And in turn, this therefore requires that as inhabitants and citizens, we are really shaping that transformation agendas with city authorities, politicians, innovators, entrepreneurs, and those which will drive with citizens these deep transformations. So as you can see, the agenda and the need to combine our knowledge and our expectations, our ambitions in such a hackathon where we bring together citizens and all other innovation ecosystems actors is more obvious than ever. It's, as I said at the outset, and Johanni, you said it as well, this is the first time we are trying it. On the basis of a lot of experience which you have in this format of hackathons. So I am very, very much looking forward to see it happen in February, and we will with you then try to draw the lessons and see how we can really use this model to move forward and exploit, disseminate solutions which are in the making, which need to be adjusted with citizens and then owned and rolled out by and with them. That's what I wanted to say. It's not really a keynote, it was a few comments, but as you can see, the expectations on the side of the Commission are extremely high, and we are really, really excited to see this project and this experiment now taking place. Back to you.
Merci beaucoup, Jean-Éric, and thank you for sharing this background. It's very inspirational, and it's also great to hear how this hackathon is linked to the bigger picture and how much importance European Commission is giving to that. So thank you so much for sharing that with us and for the honor having you here today. And next, we will have a citizen's perspective. Let me share my screen. So,
or should I be there in the bit before?
I'm sorry. Yes, that is true.
Yes. So, yeah. Sorry to interrupt your good start. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Yes, good. Only to lift up ideas about that. What is co-creation and why citizens and researchers together, and some inspiring examples before moving to the next part. So co-creation is philosophies that the best ideas are not coming from inside, but they're come outside and sharing thoughts, and especially in having consumers in the center. In this case, special focus is that the challenges of wisdom is not coming from top down by gathered from the existing needs. So that is all about co-creation, and we've learned also from the 150 hackathons and innovation challenge competitions we have organized that quite often what is the pre-setup and when we launch something and we have expectations what comes, and the companies or the governments, cities who have set the challenges, they are often surprised of the out-of-the-box ideas and what can be learned. So that for sure we can say that the wisdom does not lie in the sort of headquarters and the inside of the organizations. It's also always good to work together and get out of the box ideas. So why citizens and researchers together? Well, even smartest minds in the world cannot make change alone. So we need collaboration, and we have seen many times that the secret in the good ingredients, a good solution. It's not in the technical implementation. It's about the understanding the challenge, that what are we truly, and what should be done, and that's the beauty of this CitizenHack2022, so that the challenges are very close to those who bring those challenges, because they are their problems. They are not somebody else's. And of course, the researcher side, a huge power because they can bring the academic wisdom and to meet down to earth problems. We have had several programs where the winner teams have been researchers, so that the problems or the solutions what they have brought, they have not been in their coming from their daily work, but from their background of thinking things differently. As an example about the climate change thing is that we had a challenge about how to get the methane away from milk production, and you may know that in Finland the cows are bigger problem for the environment than cars, so that there are plenty of cows in Finland, and the winner team was researchers who brought cows in the glass house and managed to produce a zero emission environment, and that was the foundation for the sustainability program for the biggest milk producer in Finland, and now they stated that they will aim to be shortly the zero emission company. So it's we cannot underestimate the researchers' sort of input in this innovation competitions. I'll give you a few examples. First the COVID thing. I mean which has brought people closer together and made a smaller place, and it was great example of the EU versus virus hackathon, which was held a year and a half ago, and amazing number of projects and collaboration and new ideas to approach new things. We've seen that even the biggest companies in the world have stated openly that hackathons play a big role in their R&D and open innovation, even if they have the capabilities to hire the best results and pay the best salaries, but they still want to have open innovation and so that they can get out of the box thinking. We also got great results in EIT Digital Data Against COVID-19 hackathon, which was also held immediately when the COVID pandemic started. I'll give you one sort of interesting example of that how open innovation, collaboration, and co-creation can change the world. In this case, the challenge was to find digital identity for the last billion in the world. So those who don't have internet, or smartphones, who are out of the system, and the solution here applies also to, and has been raised in interest also in Europe, in refugee camps. The program was such that it was implemented to local university study program and scouting globally teams who are working on or could have something to work on that idea. The best teams there, they were individuals. They were not it was not a company, but they had the freshest approach how to utilize that. They won the hackathon. After that, they established a company, got financing. They got the pilot project to Papua New Guinea. The pilot project was done for 30,000 users, and aim is to scale that up and copy that to other countries. And as said, it all started from a sort of idea that something could be done differently, and they started working on that. We expect and hope to see something similar happening in also in the CitizenHack 2022. So, if you haven't signed yet to CitizenHack 2022, and well, do it after this seminar. You are not going to regret it. You will impact, you will learn, will make new friends, and have a lot of fun. And after the hackathon weekend, when you get back to work, school, or elderly home, wherever you are, and everybody asks again, how was your weekend? Did you do anything special? You can tell them, yes, I did something special. I was working on very important challenges, a job assigned by the EU Commission, and that the challenges was to improve our local community. And then my team presented our work to EU and to others who were interested. I wanted to make an impact and do something about our local challenge, and it was amazing. So not just another weekend. How was your weekend? Thank you all, and see you in CitizenHack 2022.
Thank you, Juhani, so much. And now it's time for the Fireside Chat, and please, Ella from Ultrahack. The stage is yours and your guests. I will share the screen.
Thank you so much, Katarina, and hi all, and good morning. It's beautiful winter day here in Helsinki. So lovely to have the snow finally here. I'm Ella Ronkainen from Ultrahack, working with client relations and leading innovation programs globally here in a virtual world right now. Today I'm here with Natalia Rincon, CEO and co-founder of Chaos Architects. Natalia, would you like to say a couple of words about yourself?
Yes, thank you for the introduction, Ella. And I agree that we have had snow finally. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Chaos. It's a startup that actually started in Helsinki 4 years ago, and after being also an Ultrahack winner. So there was a lot of inspiration from there. My background is in cities overall and people. I'm also part of Aalto University as a PhD in smart cities, with a lot of emphasis in the role of people in cities as well. So those are my backgrounds and experience from private and public sector as well.
Thank you, Natalia. And I'm also here with Casper van Hout, the co-chair of Eurocities Working Group on Digital Citizenship and European Program, project expert at the City of Murcia. Go ahead, Casper.
Thank you very much. Also for the invitation to speak, obviously. I'm a European programs expert at the City of Murcia in Spain, and all these topics that we've been talking about and will talk about in this session today are very closely linked to all the projects that we are working on, be it the H2020 project, now Horizon Europe. We've had a bit of overlap also within the Urbac 3 program, and within Eurocities, the Digital Citizenship Working Group is working on things like digital divide services for citizens that have a digital component. And it's all about co-creation, as was said before, and about engaging the citizens in the process of trying to make all those processes that they have between them and the municipality as easy and as user-centered as possible.
Thank you, Casper. All right, hey, let's get started. I have a first question to Natalia. How did you end up working with innovations?
Well, my background is in computer science and architecture. So I think that after graduation finally from the Masters of Architecture, I started to think that how are architects doing the cities and the design and planning. A lot of the research, the market analysis that we have to do and ongoing is very manual. It's counting how many people use a location, how they use it, are they strolling, are they happy? So really understanding the citizens and how the citizens or residents of areas really use the space. So we have to build good spaces for them. And from there, I started to think that there's no technology right now that really shows how the experience of the user is in a building or in the city. And from there, I started to network around innovations with researchers as we have been speaking already. Then what was out there in terms of startups and so on. And I started to have this idea. And I guess that a lot of my contacts started to say that that's a good idea. I think that you should do something about it. And when you're a first-time entrepreneur, even though I have a background with my parents as entrepreneurs also, when it's your first time, you're not very sure, or is this a good idea? Is it gonna work? Or, it's just an idea. And I guess that when you find that validation that this can turn into something, then for me, at least, it was that moment when I started to participate in these hackathons to get more validation from an external group of people, and then finally realized that, okay, actually, this is a good idea, to test forward.
All right. And what about you, Casper? How did you end up working with innovations?
Well, it's in most European programs and projects, it's a driving factor. So every time you compete for funding, you have to try and be as advanced as you can be and have an innovation component. But we had a very interesting Urbac 3 project called Interactive Cities that was taking a very close look at how municipalities municipalities communicate with their citizens, what are the tools they are using, what tone do they set for that engagement. And there we had a local working group where we worked from the municipality, but also with citizens to see how to take a closer look at that relationship. That was back in 2016. And then afterwards, we had another Ultrahack project that was about innovation coming from municipal employees, also bottom up instead of top down. So not the politicians or the directors of areas saying what needed to happen, but the basic level, just ordinary working people trying to innovate within their setting, be it in their own department, between departments, or directly in the services that the municipality provides for citizens. And now currently we've got a H2020 project called User-Centric Cities, and that is taking a closer look at the talent declaration, which is obviously a guiding document also in this aspect, but we're trying to bring it down to a tangible, measurable implementation guide, so that cities, in order to comply with that talent declaration, have more tools at their disposal to take a closer look at the municipal processes and make them, as I said, more user-centered, because in the end, it's all about the user experience from the citizens, not so much about our experience as a municipality.
Exactly. I couldn't agree with you more. And I'm curious, Natalia, as you are Ultrahack alumni and you have participated hackathon before, what kind of advantages has participating in a hackathon brought to you, and how it supported your community? And did you have any tips for citizens that are eager to apply to this specific program?
Yeah, I think that you should trust, maybe the general advice for everyone is like, you should trust your gut feeling. I think that everybody is always looking for a passion, and it sounds very, far to reach, but that thing that you're good at and that you keep thinking about, that is like a good sign that that's your passion. And I think a lot of ideas come from there specifically. Probably when these ideas start to foster is when we are actually having contact in the city with everyone. Maybe COVID has made it a little bit more difficult, but still, I think if you just sit down and have a coffee, you start nurturing that little voice in your head, or your gut feeling, or whatever you want to call it, like to pursue something. So my first advice is trust your gut feeling, and then communicate it. So start communicating your idea and bring it forward, and be very open to feedback. It's just like, be very curious, because when you're curious, you're open. If you defend your idea, then you might be very close. So be curious about explaining your idea. And then related to the hackathon, I remember that my own experience was enrolling in a very local hackathon in my community, and I won it. So I didn't have a team. That's a question that I ask a lot, because I also coach other startups in Helsinki or Tampere. And that's a question really that you have as a founder, is like, how do I form my team? So I joined the hackathon to find a team. We won. And then we went to Ultrahack. And I remember the first impression walking in Ultrahack, the first day to get my badge, everything was so amazing and full of lights, and everybody were having like in their computers and coding. And my first feeling was that I don't know anything to compete with these guys, like I have a background in computer science, but I'm not coding here the whole night. So everybody was so passionate and so into it that you really felt like, oh, maybe I don't belong here. But once you started and you had this wheel of going on, that I will just ask for feedback. And I worked a lot with the judges, like asking feedback and sharpening the idea and sharpening, just out of curiosity, because maybe I felt that maybe I don't win. But then as you continue to explore and be really open and curious, then you feel that this is paying out. And it did pay out. So we won that Ultrahack, and that for us was like amazing. It was like there were so many good ideas in there, and very good coders and super eager to test everything. So I think that trusting your gut, being curious, and then being steadfast in that, like, don't let it go, like follow through to see what happens. There are 3 good advices, and maybe it sounds a cliche, but I think that's the things you're gonna need even when you put a company. So when you start a startup and you go and you get funding, you need the same things to make it successful. So keep them close to your heart because they will help you.
That's a super good tip. And I agree with you that stepping out of your comfort zone can bring very good things in your life. And the communication is key always. Thanks,
Yes.
Natalia. And then Casper, I have a question for you. Why is it important that the citizens contribute to their community? And is there something that the city of Murcia is doing to support that already?
Thank you for that question. Well, it's something that came up in the first presentation we saw. It's about involving people directly and having them make the problems their own. In the sense that, for example, in Murcia, we had a very interesting project called Urban DNA, which we used for urban revitalization of a deprived neighborhood. And basically what we as a city did was get the neighbors in the same room as municipal technicians, as external collectives. For example, there was a elderly citizen center, there was a women's center, there were associations from sports and from other areas. So all these collective participated with the neighbors themselves. And what they identified were like 3,000 mini actions, which we call urban acupuncture. And by so each action on itself would not have a big impact, but doing those 3,000 small actions in the same period of time had a big impact on that neighborhood. And the co-creation methods that we used of having the neighbors identify the problem. So not just an expert walking through a street going like, that's bad, that's bad, that's bad. No, what are the things that really have an impact on their daily lives and how can we improve the quality of life of citizens? And so they identified the problems and then they identified the solutions with the help, obviously, of our municipal experts, because you cannot expect a citizen to have in-depth knowledge on everything that goes on in the city. And those actions, just to give a few examples, more greenery because it's a neighborhood in the city center, so they want more green, more plants. They wanted more areas for kids to play. They wanted certain streets to be either one directional or just close them off just for pedestrians. They wanted to have trash containers on the ground instead of in the streets. And so all these small actions together, they revitalized an entire neighborhood in the year that we did that. And the takeaway that I get from that is that since both the problems and the solutions were thought up by the neighbors that live in that specific area, the maintenance of all those actions in comparison to actions that the city normally does are far longer in time, in the sense that, for example, if you remove graffiti and you put up a work of art, then they did that. They said, we don't want that graffiti. They said, we want something nice that makes our neighborhood nicer. And then if they see someone that's going to destroy that, it's the neighbors that say, hey, what are you doing? We live here, this is ours. So that was a very, very interesting experience, which we've since replicated a few times, and we're trying to innovate also in the way that we communicate. But I'm very much a fan of digital, but when you work with different collectives, which include in this case also, for example, elderly people, you cannot go fully digital. So you always need that component of having face-to-face with people to make sure they can get to express, their needs or their thoughts on those different topics. But for example, with youth, we used used WhatsApp, we used Twitter, we used Facebook, just to make sure that everyone could give their opinion if they wanted to in the most easy way. So we did not use, for example, a municipal app. We just used the tools that people already have on their phones or on their computer, just to make it as easy as possible for them to communicate and to contribute to the project.
I want to add, if we have a little time, just to that comment, to build on your comments, Casper. I think this is great. We often I get asked, like, why are we named Chaos? And the explanation is that cities are complex. They're not chaotic, but they're complex. And we believe in the butterfly effect. When you make a small intervention in the city, you create a big change. And already what Jan-Erik mentioned before that I really like, he said that the EU is looking for solutions that citizens can trust and that are legitimate. So they're legit to use also, and users trust that. Often we see, because we work with that kind of applications, Casper, in Chaos, that engaging users and so on, and data about cities overall. But what we have seen is that there's a challenge when in our personalities, we all have different ways of communicating. So there's always like a percentage of people that get involved, disregards of your age or background. I think the personality is like the kind of like advocate that wants to say something else regarding the city. And I have found that this is a challenge for municipalities typically. So the question is, like, how do we engage most of the people? And I think that is also a good way, Casper, to look at it, using what people already use and condensing that into a platform. But maybe also something to think about in this hackathon is like, we cannot force users to use something. We kind of need to be embedded in their lives, because we all have different personalities, and that will continue through time. So maybe that's a question and a challenge that I don't have the answer yet, but that's good to think about.
Yeah, I fully agree. And in this case, or in any co-creation where you involve citizens, or in to work towards a common goal, the basics is you need them to volunteer their time. And as long as you can get enough people to want to volunteer a bit of their time, then you get a really complex map of different opinions, priorities, expertise. For example, one person that was really involved in the project, he was a software developer, and so he lived in that neighborhood. And so every time he took the floor, it was about digitalization and putting down sensors and measured this and measured that. And like the old lady were just like, we want a bigger place to I don't know, do crochet, and so you really get and that's also the beautiful part about this, that you get very different opinions, and depending on the age, the circumstances, for example, the priorities of couples that have small children are very, very different from, I don't know, university students, for example. So you really get a sense of all the different lives that are being lived in a neighborhood, and in this case for our project. And I think that is something you can extend to any hackathon. You'll get people with a very, very broad and different perspectives, which in the end makes for a better end result or end product, I think, because you get to see the problem through the scope of so many different people.
Exactly. Remember, the small actions can bring the big impact. Since we are running out of the time soon, any closing words from Natalia you want to share with the potential participants and people online today?
Yeah, maybe just from our perspective at the startup, we have been seeing this rhetoric a lot, and our vision is more livable cities. So I think we're very aligned with what Casper's mentioning, what Jan-Erik already mentioned. And maybe tips for that is like, in order to really tackle these big challenges, climate change, and make cities more sustainable and livable, we need citizens' expertise. Like, we need to quantify their knowledge. We can't rely only on urban planners or politicians or municipalities. We all live in cities and we all have eyes that are observing what happens around our own neighborhood. So that knowledge needs to be transmitted somehow. So when you're looking into new ideas, new innovations, think about that. It's like, how do we embed this knowledge that as a community we have in order to create more livable cities?
Thank you, Natalia. Casper, do you want to add?
Yeah, I fully agree. I think that we have the concepts, be it as citizens or as municipalities. There are hackathons, you've got participatory budgeting, you've got like specific projects that cities let people give their opinion on. And I think it's about engaging the right people and as many people as possible, and making it as easy as possible for them to participate, because as I mentioned before, in the end they're volunteering their time. So it's up to the rest of us to make sure that it's as easy as possible. That's my takeaway.
Thank you, Casper. Like you said, the experts are actually the citizens, you, the potential participants today. Thank you so much, Natalia and Casper. This was a super inspiring talk indeed. Yeah, let's continue the work, and I speak to Katarina back. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you, Casper and Natalia, also from my side. And next, we will have the researcher's perspective to the same topic. So I would like to ask Paavo Ritala, Professor of Strategy and Innovation and board member of LUT University from Finland, to join, and also Katerina Zuru, Senior Researcher and Head of Web2Learn from Greece, to join the discussion. So great to have you with us today. How's your year has started so far?
Hey, Katarina, it's great to be here. Yeah, I guess same as for everybody else, you know, home or the office and looking at the screen.
Yeah.
But otherwise good. You know, it's a proper winter in Finland and lots of skiing.
Yeah, that's true. What about Katerina? In Greece, how's the life and New Year started?
Hello, good morning, and very nice to see you all. We are isolated still with lots of COVID cases, but digital environments and spaces of co-creation of new windows. So that's the positive thing. I'm very pleased to listen to the two presenters. That was very inspiring, and thank you, Ultrahack, for making this happen.
Yeah, thank you. And if we will go to your introductions more, so ladies first. So Katerina, if you want to tell a little bit more about your background.
Yes, I am a senior researcher working both in academia and in the business sector. And also I am an engaged citizen. So I volunteer in hackathons. It all started massively, I think, in 2020. Due to the first lockdown and my participation at the big EU Against Virus hackathon, that was for me a tipping point in a change in my understanding of what research is, what participation is, what co-creation is, and finding solutions together with people we never thought of working with, thanks to digital technologies.
And Paavo, please.
Okay, so let me introduce myself shortly. So I'm Professor of Strategy and Innovation. As Katarina mentioned, I'm here at the Land of the Curious. This picture behind me is next to our university. We are next to the Lake Saimaa. It's a nice place in Lappeenranta, Finland, close to eastern border of Finland, and 2 hours from Helsinki. So not too distant to be able to be reached whenever somebody can travel. We are a University of Technology, and we are very close to the industry and the society, actually. So about 50% of our university budget comes not from the Ministry of Education, but from external grants, and many of those relate to the industry collaboration. So for me, engagement, collaboration with the industry, with the society, it's part of my job every day, day in, day out, in part of different courses, teaching, research projects, different levels and depths of co-creation take place basically every day. So for me, I feel good to be here as well, and I'm excited to talk about this very important topic. And I have also some experience on hackathons, also with Ultrahack. I've been a participant in hackathons, I've been a facilitator, I've been a coach, I've been a researcher of hackathon events as well.
Okay, well, that's good, because my first question would have been like, what do you think is beneficial and great about this kind of unique setting where researchers and citizens work together and co-create solutions, especially for grassroots level challenges? So Paavo, if you want to continue.
Okay, I can go first. Okay, so I think it's extremely useful. So for researchers, especially, because we already discussed about how it's beneficial for society, but for researchers, it's sometimes so that we take weeks and months, even years, we ponder on a specific problem or a research theme, and it's not always ideal. Sometimes it takes many years before we discuss about the relevance of our researchers with actual other people beyond a couple of other academics. And it's not actually very ideal. We want to be, or we should be exposed, and we should expose our ideas to as many people as possible. Of course, we're limited in time. So that brings us to the benefits of a time-constrained hackathon, which is something that is very time-efficient way to do this. But of course, I would say beyond hackathon, we should be engaged in different ways in social media, day in, day out. We can do that also pretty effectively. And of course, in longer term research projects. So I think hackathon is something in the middle. It's sort of a, let's say that it's a sweet spot in terms of time efficient engagement with practice for researchers. Something between, longer term research collaboration and projects and in the very short engagement in terms of, for instance, social media interaction. So I think hackathon is a nice way to focus on a while on a specific set of problems and put your research knowledge to use.
Okay, what about Katarina? What do you think about, you have your own hackathon experience as well, and also from researchers' perspective, what is great about this kind of initiative and opportunity?
Yes, let me build on what Paavo said. What's fantastic in hackathons is exactly this, that, Paavo lives in the far north, I live in in far south, and through different life trajectories, I live in different research trajectories, we understand, we have commonalities, which is, I think, is shocking in the positive sense that you share so many things with people that you never thought that you would. I think what is the positive thing is that a hackathon experience is a transformative experience for me. Let me explain. We have an image of a researcher dedicated to his or her research, meaning teaching and scholar work and publishing papers and coaching students and so on. But we forget a bit the multiple identities someone has. So being an engaged citizen, this doesn't mean that you are a less good researcher. And I think this is something that we forget, and we should emphasize that now, especially in the pandemic, there are many opportunities where a researcher can question about his or her role and his or her purpose to society. I think that what's positive, at least from my experience in hackathons, is that because there is not this hierarchical system that we are familiar with at universities, you ask yourself, what's your purpose? What's your value in society in general? Because in hackathons, you partner with people, with citizens, with normal participants, and they do not see you as a, renowned researcher. They see you as a collaborator, as a member of the team. And this is very, very positive for a researcher to engage in such an environment. So not in the ivory towers that we build in universities, more horizontal and egalitarian approach of knowledge and co-creation that happens in a university, but in a more horizontal fashion. So that change of attitude in a more fun, why not? Okay, it's fun, hackathons are fun, and a more egalitarian approach is very beneficial for researchers.
Yeah, sounds very, very true. And also because you are the experts of the research world and the academia, so I'm sure you know this as a great opportunity to expand the role from your everyday role and work opportunities in that sense. What kind of recommendations and tips or techniques you would like to give from researcher to researcher to joining hackathon and co-creation projects? Would you have some good tips to take into consideration?
Okay, shall I go first? Maybe. Okay, so yeah, I think there are many tips and techniques to do. So let me take three angles on this. Maybe it's always three, an effective message contains three points. So let me try to make 3 points. Let's start counting. Well, first I would say, engage bravely. So don't let the researcher mindset limit yourself too much. So okay, academic knowledge is tried and tested, it's cumulative and it's validated and so on. That's great. And that's why research matters in society. But don't let that limit you too much. So engage bravely and apply your knowledge, give recommendations that go beyond your comfort zone. And comfort zone was also already mentioned before in this seminar. And secondly, I would say that put your research findings to use in a way that challenges others. So there will be other people in the hackathon, and you as a researcher, you are an expert in your field, and you can use this expertise to challenge others. So you can say that, okay, as we know that these things work like this, there are these processes, and typically this type of things lead to that kind of outcome. So how would you resolve this? Knowing this, how could we move forward? So challenge others by bringing in your expertise and knowledge. And lastly, and this is more practical, so give specific frameworks and tools and thinking tools, and in business field, we have these tools like classic SWOT analysis or business model canvas. Okay, everybody knows that. You don't need to bring those in. Take something that is more specific, that is very useful to this problem. For instance, in one of my own research fields, which is circular economy, we have developed this circular business model strategy canvas or strategy framework, which has 6 different configurations that practitioners can use, and we made that publicly available. And I know it's being used by different consultants and firms and in some courses. So if you have developed tools like that, you can bring those if it fits the research context, or more likely somebody else has developed those tools in your field. So those tools are meant to be used. So as you probably know, many of these tools and frameworks, bring those to the sessions because those exist. So you can test those tools with your group as well. So yeah, this is 3 points. Thank
you. Do you, Katarina, want to add some final tips and final words?
Yes, very quickly. In academia, we talk a lot about the connection between science and society. So my advice is for researchers, do what you preach. Do what do try to connect society with your research, and we should all make an effort to fuel academic knowledge in more participatory and bottom-up citizen-driven initiatives. And now is the opportunity. So that's why I say do what you preach. The other thing is have fun. I think I don't know if we express this enough, but for me hackathons are fun. So enjoy it, learn from each other. It's a journey. For me hackathons are journeys. There's not this linear and standardized approach that we have at universities from A to Z. No, you get to learn many people that you may encounter in future lives. That's great. And don't take yourself too serious, because it's about spontaneous, adventurous, intuitive ways of learning together. And be open to learn, and also question yourself. Question what you know, what you don't know.
Sounds very, very good, and also even for life in general. So thank you so much, Katarina. And thank you also, Paavo. It would have been a pleasure to continue our discussion even longer, but show must go on, and we have to move to the second phase, or next phase. But thank you so much, Paavo, Ritala, and Katarina Zuru.
Thank you very much. It was my pleasure.
Thank you. Yes, great. Thank you. And next, Ella will walk you through about maybe one of the most interesting parts, so how to join.
Thanks, Katarina. All right, let's go through the practicalities. Could you change the slide? Thanks. All right. You still have some time to apply for the hackathon. The deadline is 23rd of January, so don't wait too long. After the registration and after deadline, there will be the team selection, and we will inform everyone if they got selected to the hackathon or not. And for those who will be selected, there will be meet the mentor session. It's going to be 4th of February, where all the teams have possibility to tell more about their idea and meet the mentors of the hackathon. And the actual hackathon will take place 10 to 12 of February. It will be virtual hackathon, mostly communicated in Zoom and Slack. Yes, and how to find the dream team. Starting from registration, and when you have registered to the webpage at the ultrahack.com, you can start to search for the submissions, those that are interested for you. Then you can contact directly the people that have submitted the idea, and you can connect those people and talk about more the idea. We also opened the Slack channel where you can introduce yourself and get connected to the other members. And then there will be separate matchmaking activities facilitated by us, Ultrahack, where we will help you to get connected to the potential teammates. And the ingredients of the winning team. Of course, we recommend that you start already today search for the team members. The team should consist on 2 to 4 people, and then there will be 2 researchers assigned to your team to help you with your topic and solution. And the common interest in the challenge, the solution idea, skill set, and also the diversity of perspective. Those are the things that will formulate a really good team. So keep those things on mind when you're searching for the potential teammates. And about the matchmaking process after the registration deadline, you will be invited to join the Slack channel. There you are able to introduce yourself, and you can read others' introductions and search for the teammates based on the skills and your interest and connect to each others. Also, we are going to make the suggestions based on your profiles and help you to get to formulate the teams. And finally, there will be the researchers that will be also participated to your team. Now I will give actually back to Katarina. Thank you.
Yes. So in addition to the great points and the insights that we have had opportunity to hear from all of our partners and the great speakers, we want to, from Ultrahack and the partners side, offer also following things for everyone joining, and then the prizes for the 3 winning teams. So everyone who participate will receive an official Ultrahack certificate of participation. And also, as mentioned several times in this seminar, so we really see that this is a lifetime opportunity to work on your community challenges in an inspiring environment, supported by great mentors. And you have also a chance to present your results to the prestigious jury members across Europe. And the jury will also select 3 winning teams. And these teams will receive following prizes and support. So coaching and introductions from Ultrahack, Eurocities, Open Innovation Network, and Auto Startup Center in EU network and academia world to develop your projects further. Also 1-hour mentoring session from Auto Startup Center with Urban Tech Helsinki specialist for winning teams, and support for applying to Urban Tech Helsinki Incubator program. There will be also an invitation to Urban Tech Helsinki Meet and Mix and other important and relevant events. And we also organize a virtual Afterhack event where the winning teams will pitch their project in a virtual event to gain access to present their solutions at EU level to get visibility among potential partners and possible investors. And also visibility as a blog post and social media activities by Ultrahack. And the winning team researchers are granted with the opportunity to be considered to submit a letter from industry to the Journal of Innovation Management. So now it's time for the Q&A. So if Ella, you could be kind enough and let's go through the questions from the chat that we have had.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, there was a question about the presentation that can we share that? One, I'm pretty sure we can share that to the Slack channel, right, Katarina?
Yes, and for the registered people, and also we can send it to the people who have registered to this opening seminar as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, And also there were a question about the actual hackathon dates and if it will be all day long event.
Yes, so the hackathon starts 10th of February on Thursday, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Central European time, and it will continue until the evening, and it's up to you how long in the late at night your team want to work on the projects, but the Thursday will include in the afternoon several workshops and the mentoring meetings, but also time is reserved for the project work as well. And on Friday, the program starts 10 o'clock in the morning and continues to 6 o'clock. And in the Saturday, when is the last day and the pitch submission day, so that is the day when your teams should form a pitch and deliver it for the jury to review. And the winner announcement on Saturday will happen in the afternoon around 4 o'clock.
All right, I hope this clarified the schedule a bit. Then there is another question. Is eligibility to participate based on citizenship or residence? I am a EU citizen, but I live in UK. Can I apply to the researchers track?
Yes, and just to clarify still the other application criteria. So firstly, answer to your question. So yes, you can apply. So the eligibility is perceived in citizenship. So as long as you're citizens of one of the European member state countries, you are eligible to apply. And even you live in UK, which is not no longer part of the EU, but yes, you can apply. And also for everyone on the line, there is no coding skills required in this hackathon. So even you are not a pro coder, you can still apply and work for your community.
Yes, everyone is expert in this hackathon.
Yeah.
Since you are the citizens and know the best, what would you like to improve in your city?
Yes.
All right. Do we have any other questions? Yes, we actually had. What is the required shape of pitch presentation? A live video, recorded video, Canva presentation?
Yes, so you will have a pitch training in the hackathon quite in the early stage. So you will then learn what is a good pitch, and we will prep you for that. But that will be delivered in a recorded version. So we think that it's better for the video quality and also to in this virtual environment, so that we have the videos recorded beforehand, sharing them to the jury, but it's in a video format, the pitch, which you have to deliver.
All right. Any other questions? You can also open the mic online and ask. We are here for you right now if you want, and you don't need to put your camera on, of course. It seems like it's all clear right now.
Yeah, but if we don't, oh, okay, so yes, so we encourage to everyone who is new to hackathons apply to this, because this is very low threshold opportunity to get familiar with hackathons, as there is no typical coding skills required. And also I can see, could you, Ella, please read the full question? So I missed it a little bit, how it continued.
Oh yeah, I think we're still talking about the question that I have never done a hackathon and are a bit unsure about the outcome or the typical outcome.
I can also try to formulate my question. My internet is bad, so I apologize. No, I'm more like, is because I can see on your webpage that under participants, one can be listed as researchers, full stack developer, backend developer, front-end developer, and so on and so on and so on. And I get a bit confused or uncertain. Are we to present, is it a hackathon in presenting an idea? Is it a hackathon in building up some prototype? Or like, I've never done a hackathon, so I'm completely, I don't know what to expect and don't even know how to ask the question. So I'm more like, what would be the typical thing that is pitched? Is it like how like what should I expect by the end of the weekend? Sorry.
Thank you so much for the question, and maybe also Ella and Juhani, you can elaborate, but in this specific hackathon, we are expecting to have as an outcome a presentation about the concrete plan, how the community's challenge can be solved. And that will be required to be submitted in a PowerPoint format, and presenting what is the local challenge your community is facing and what is your solution to it. And more specifically, it will be explained in the beginning of hackathon. But if Ella and Juhani, you want to elaborate on typically more about what is hackathon and how the hackathon usually goes.
Yes, hi, good question. So quite many hackathons, they accept you to do something also coding, but in this hackathon, it's not the case. And we have done several hackathons where it is like similar type of thing that people are encouraged, participants are encouraged to do different things, but they are not forced to do. So that's why there are those different background questions, because that answering those could help in the matchmaking if you are looking for team members, so that they also know that what is your background. And as I said, it's perfectly fine that nobody in your team has never done any coding. You have an idea which you try to formulate and present, and that's perfectly welcome. But if you have some on top of the idea, because the idea matters, so that's the main thing. But if on top of that you have also, if you want to present or do some mock-up or something that example how that could work in practice, so that's very welcome as well. So that so be open-minded and definitely join, and apologies if the questions made you afraid of participating, but welcome.
Yes, hopefully this clarified the question. And do we have any other questions on the line?
Yes, we have. When do you start look for researchers?
Yes, so the application period is open all the time for both citizens and researchers. And if you don't know yet any researcher to join your team, no worries. So just submit your project idea and register on the platform. We will show you the link just in a minute. But don't worry, we will matchmake the researchers to join your team and suggest teams for the researchers to join. And you can also contact them in the platform and see who else has registered so far.
Yes, and there was another guest question about that. Did you have them already chosen? But I think you already answered to that one, that you are still able to apply as a research.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Will there be mentors to help the teams to choose the challenge among many we have as a team? If the team members will be from different countries, cities, how to go and choose one challenge for the team?
Yes, so you can apply with your own idea of how to improve your local community, but there will be 15 mentors helping you along the way in the hackathon. So they can help you and support you refine your idea.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and is it so that we should come up with our own challenge?
Yes, so it's preferable that if you have identified in your everyday life, for example, something that could be improved in your neighborhood, for example, that is great. So you can apply with the idea that appears in your own life or in your teammates' life, and you would like to develop a solution for that.
Yes, and I just sent it a link to the challenge webpage. You can read the different challenges from there. There are 3 different topics that are about climate change, societal, and sustainability.
Yes, they act as an inspiration for you to come up with their own ideas. That is true. Do we have any other questions?
Yeah, and then there is another question. I am allowed to apply and participate as I am doing BJO under the Horizon 2020 MSCA co-found program.
Yes, you are. Welcome.
Yes, I agree with you, Hanni. Okay, but
all right, one more. Is the hackathon suitable for existing startups?
Yes, so you can apply already with existing project or startup. So we don't discriminate the maturity of the projects. So that's very good if you have already worked with the project. There is many working groups also across European countries who are already involving citizens to contribute to their communities. So you can apply with that kind of project that you are already working, and also as a startup. But also if it's only one seed in your mind of the problem, so all the levels of maturity of the projects are encouraged to join, because miracles will happen in the hackathon regarding the progress, and it's not said that what is the outcome of the project compared to the first stage, because we also and the jury evaluate the teams based on the progress done in the hackathons.
Yeah, exactly. And please apply even if you don't have yet a concrete idea. There
Yes,
will
you
be
can.
mentors and lot of people that can support to crystallize your idea, and there are others with a similar background and passion to solve those problems. So it's a really good way of getting know to like-minded people and network which is other, and also it's a very great experience to have. So I highly recommend to apply for it and just do it.
Yes, and as you can register to the platform and then start looking and connecting with other registrant people to join. That is true. But yes, so what we would like to still remind you before we close the opening seminar. So there is still time to do the registration. So it's until this week, Sunday, so 23rd of January. And you will hear from us on 2nd of February about which teams have been selected to the hackathon. And if you have any questions along the way, please be in contact with my colleague Anne, and here is her email address, and also me, Katarina. You can contact anytime with any questions. So you can, for example, take a screenshot of this slide now for having our contact information. But we will share the presentation for everyone who joined. And I want to once again thank you so much, our partners who joined, and also our great speakers. You can all, for example, open cameras now, and we can say thank you for all of us. Great. Thank you for everyone, and we are from our side very excited about this unique collaboration opportunity across all the European countries, which is very unique. And also, if anyone from our side or partners want to say anything at this point still. Okay, Katerina is saying good luck to all participants. That's true. But we will support all the participants in the hackathon for sure. But thank you everyone, and see you in CitizenHack 2022.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.